If you can look at yourself, have a wonderful relationship with your curious observer and not be judgmental of yourself, but when something doesn't go your way or something doesn't feel good to you, you can ask yourself, what was I thinking that caused me to say that? What caused me to think that? What caused me to actually do that? And you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of why. However, when you recognize it, then you have an opportunity to change it.
Welcome to People at Pyramid, a weekly podcast that introduces you to your fellow Pyramid Club members. My name is Vince Quinn, the Content Studio Director, and I'm here to showcase the stories of your fellow members, explore the ways that they can help you and your network, and make it easy for you to connect. With that, let's meet our next member.
Hello, my name is Catherine Chadwick. I am the owner of Catherine Chadwick Consulting, LLC, and the name of my business is The Art of Self-Craftsmanship. I've been a member here for 4 months now.
All right, so welcome in.
Thank you.
Yeah, and let's get started by understanding just the business a little bit more. I mean, just tell us, what do you do?
I've been a nurse for over 40 years, and as that nurse of over 40 years of experience, I have discovered that many people have not been exposed to or programmed to develop themselves entirely with all the tools that this fabulous body-mind connection has. And that's what I teach.
Okay, and so what do you mean by that? I mean, what are the things that people don't realize and grasp and add into their lives?
What's fabulous is that we're these beautiful electromagnetic beings. And when a person can learn themselves energetically and understand that everything is energy, and thoughts, emotions, and actions are all energetic, and because of those values, they all influence the chemical cocktail reactions within the body, and that dictates a level of health. And when people are running on stress hormones for any great extended period of time, the body's not designed to work that way. And that's when the body starts to break down. It's really unfortunate because the research shows that approximately 95% of human health conditions and illnesses are lifestyle induced. So let's talk about that, because there are so many things that we can change for ourselves. And with a little bit of humor, we have a much better chance of creating, newer habits that serve us better.
Yeah.
And I have found that when people understand the basics of how they operate, they make much better decisions for themselves. And it's a really fun process.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, let's break that down then, right? Let's say I'm hearing all of this and I want to begin to understand how I operate.
Mm-hmm.
What are the kinds of things that I'm asking myself? Like, how do I even begin that process?
If you can look at yourself from the outside and have a wonderful relationship with your curious observer, and not be judgmental of yourself, but when something doesn't go your way or something doesn't feel good to you, you can ask yourself, what was I thinking that caused me to say that? What caused me to think that? What caused me to actually do that? Why did I say that, right? And you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of why. However, when you recognize it, then you have an opportunity to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have found also with people, because we all live in a 360-degree cylinder, basically, and when you can sit at another seat at the table and look at things from a different perspective, between that and the non-judgmental observation of yourself, you get a tremendous amount of information that you can use to create a new habit. And that, in turn, causes you to create new neural pathways because of neuroplasticity. And we do have the option to change not only our habits, but our whole way of life if we want to do that.
Yeah. So when you start to really get your mindset, put it in understand it, not beat yourself up for it, like you said, non-judgmental,
Right.
and be able to then say, okay, well, based on these things, I'm going to put new stuff into my life.
Right.
And alter those habits. And then from there, it does pile up over time. You make all these different decisions. You've created a whole new decision tree, basically, for yourself. And let me give you an example. I thought this was an interesting one. So have you read the book Atomic Habits?
Yes.
Okay, great. So great book.
Yeah.
And one of the examples of that I thought was really interesting was, let's say somebody is really down, having a hard time, like they've been in a rough stage of their lives, and physically moving to a new apartment would
Yes.
shake up their entire routine. Everything of how everything is laid out, what their environment looks
Yes.
like, where they're located, what things are around them to go and engage with, how far the gym is or the supermarket or
Right.
whatever. Like those kinds of changes give them an opportunity to reset their lifestyle.
Oh, no question. And the whole study of epigenetics, how we react and respond to our environment, will actually up level or down regulate a gene. It affects our health as well. So, environment is hugely important because you want to be in an environment that supports you, not only physically, but aesthetically. Does it feel good when you walk in?
Yeah.
Right?
And same thing with the kinds of people you hang out with, right?
Oh, no question.
Like, so when you're thinking about who are the other people in the room, what are the things that you're looking to achieve? Are those the kinds of people that facilitate those things or do not facilitate those things? How much
Right.
time should you be spending with those people?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it is a lot to consider and factor in. I know this in part because for me, I really went through like a major personal lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm.
So this was about 6 years ago now, but where I was in radio, working around the clock,
Yep.
all these inconsistent hours, my sleep was totally out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I mean, just on a level of like self-worth and putting everything based on
Yes.
how is this, like how my career was going and what kind of reactions I got on a tweet kind of defined my
Oh,
day.
okay. Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
it was a very hard thing because everything is based on social media reaction, and
Mm-hmm.
I was defining myself based on that.
Yeah.
It was really miserable. But
Mm-hmm.
then once I left, I've been very slowly unwinding all those things that led to that burnout, all of the bad diet, like the lack of
Mm-hmm.
just regularity with anything in my life. And
Right.
I've kind of been working to change all of that.
Yep.
And it's been monumental to do, right? It's been 6 years of like very hard work. But to be on the other side of that now and
Oh,
see how much
yeah.
it's changed, I mean,
Right.
it's honestly like I'm a completely different person.
Well, that's the other thing that, along with that, is as you make these changes, you develop a new personality. The personality that was looking at the tweets and allowing that to define you is not who you are today. And the other thing that's really fun about learning things, learning yourself energetically, I have a project called the Sunshine Quotient, and that's a term that refers to lighting gradients in photography and radiology. And I've applied it to people because we are these beautiful electromagnetic light beings, and I use it as a teaching tool. But what's fascinating is when you can look at people, you can almost see what vibration they are at. And I call it, you, as I'm talking with you, you have a high sunshine quotient,
Ooh,
right?
all
And
right.
and, and isn't that so
I am
fun?
UV rays all over this place, Catherine. Let's go.
But it makes a difference, doesn't it? Because it makes a whole difference on your whole outlook on life. And I'm not saying that anybody should ever be Pollyanna and be that ostrich and put their head in the sand and not acknowledge these emotions that come up. We do get angry, we do get sad, we do get disappointed. And what's interesting is that we do not have to let those define us, but it's imperative to acknowledge them and learn, okay, what triggered that? What's up with this, basically.
Yeah.
And also, when people have the understanding that the average lifespan of an emotion is typically less than 90 seconds
Hmm.
and typically only up to 2 minutes, we're the ones that keep resetting it. If you find yourself in a negative loop a couple of hours later or even a couple of days later, and we do go into a funk from now and again, it's not realistic to think that we're going to be up in the higher vibrations of joy and fun all of the time because life just isn't like that. A lot of hills and valleys. I've been studying body mind energy connection since my early 20s. By the time I was 23 years old, I was the charge nurse of a small intensive care unit. And by the time I was 25, I was in a hip to breast back brace after what I refer to as the lumbar crumble. My lower back fell apart. And I had a beautiful repair at Mayo Clinic. So I'm back in Florida, sleeping on a friend's couch. I'm probably about 30 pounds lighter than you see me now.
Wow.
I'm in a back brace, and I have a fabulous teal-colored bikini. And and I'm sleeping on a friend's couch. I've got a few clothes, two back braces, and this great bikini, and this little walking skeleton in this, bikini and this back brace. I go to the beach every day, and I don't care. I'm supposed to wear this brace for a year and walk at least 1 mile a day for a year. And I get up in the miles, and I'm like, wow, something is just so way off, because I'm not the only nurse that I know in a back brace. Not everybody's had surgery, but people are too heavy, equipment's too heavy, the setup was not in our favor, let's say.
Yeah.
And a book by Wayne Dyer landed in my lap, and I started learning about the body-mind connection, about the body-mind energy connection, and I'm like, wow, this is the ticket, because what I call the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And when you understand about universal laws and energy principles and how you can incorporate them into your daily living, it's a whole new way of life.
Yeah. And so we've covered a lot of ground in terms of this philosophy, the energy, the approach of mindset, and how that all comes together. What I would love to do for a minute is just talk about your life, Catherine. I mean, what do you do when you're not doing this, when you're not helping people in this kind of way? What do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I've discovered that I kind of like to help myself sometimes too,
Yeah.
instead of giving it all the way all the time, right?
Yeah.
I love being out in nature. I love being out on the water. I love spending time with my grandchildren and my kids, and so yeah, I'm very family oriented. I really like being creative, and I could go into hermit mode for a very long time,
Yeah.
just because I have fun creating things.
Oh, things like what?
Like Ultimate Mind Diet, executive driver's ed, so different ways of taking research and evidence-based material and turning those into practical tools and applications that people can actually use, right? So then the process for them isn't, you don't have to be a chemist or a biologist in order to change your life.
Yeah. And I mean, it is just so helpful to have frameworks, right? To say like,
Absolutely.
okay, well, I
Right.
understand these ideas, but like, how do I
How
actually
do I
do
do
any
it?
of it, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
no, it does make a lot of sense. And then last thing, because I need to get an answer on the water. Okay, are we talking? Is this canoes? Is this boats? Is this swimming? Is it jet skis? What are you doing out there? What do you like to do on the
When
water?
I lived in Florida, I learned to sail.
Okay.
And that was fabulous. I grew up in the Finger Lakes in upstate New York. And so I was always in the water all summer. The lakes are cold, though, right?
Yeah.
No heated pool for me, right?
Yeah.
And so I grew up, swimming from a very young age and being out on the water in boats and learned to ski, all of those things. And I think when you can navigate in other arenas, like being out on the water, um, and not just being just on land, it opens up a whole new dimension of life for you.
I love that. Yeah, I love being out on the water. I'm definitely a lake person.
Hmm.
If I had to pick, yeah, I love being out on a lake, and just for me, it's a kayak. Just cruising around
Uh-huh.
is really great. Occasionally fishing, like
Yep.
to do that too. So
Hmm.
all good stuff. So how about this then, Catherine? For everybody who's heard this, they want to learn more about mindset and connect with you about those
Okay.
things, or I don't know, sailing. They want to talk to you. Like, what's the best way to get in touch with
Mhm.
you?
Through probably on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm there. I'm also on other social media. My website is theartofselfcraftsmanship.org.
There we go. So make sure you check that out, and if you see Catherine in the club, say hi.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's
Yeah,
been fun talking with you, Vince.
thank you for being on. I really appreciate it.